Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Shifts and Pucks News Pack for Tuesday, May 3rd. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com, Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com, Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com, Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. As tonight, game one of four series, including the Calgary Flames, as they play their first home playoff game since 2019 in front of fans. That fateful day against the Colorado Avalanche, uh, there where they lost 5-1, and they will play in front of fans against the Dallas Stars. Game one is tonight. It starts at 8 p.m. Mountain, uh, 7 p.m. Pacific, and it's the first game of these playoffs as first game since April 19th, 2019. That's the specific time. So, looking quickly at the lineup for the Flames here, that they're expected to start, it will be Jake Ottinger that will start for the Dallas Stars, and it will be, of course, Jacob Markstrom will start for the Flames. The Flames lines today look for the morning skate looked not too, I'm sure not too surprising there, but you had of course Lindholm, Gaudreau, Kachuk, Backlund, Mangiapane, Toffoli, Yarncroke, Dubé, Coleman, Trevor Lewis, Milan Lucic, Brett Ritchie. I think that I don't think anyone is surprised. Hannafin, Anderson, Shillington, Tanev, Zadorov, Goodbranson are on defensive. Markstrom starting in goal. Of course, the extras will be Ruzicka, Carpenter, Stone, and Connor Mackey. By the way, the Flames called up Adam Warner today as a third goaltender option for the Stars. One of the other great lines of the season: Rupe Hintz, Jason Robinson, Joe Pavelski. Pavelski will be a dangerous guy. Of course, he's been a proven playoff performer, proven Flame menace. Watch out for him. Nemestikov, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Radek Fasa, Joel Seviranta, Dennis Gurianov, Luke Gendeni, Michael Raffel, Alexander Radulov are the forward lines. Ryan Suter will be with Miro Heiskanen, Essen Lindell, John Klingberg. John Klingberg in the lineup today. Joel Hanley and Yanni Hakanpää. Jake Ottinger in goal. Scott Wedgwood the backup. Thomas Harley, Jacob Peterson, Andre Sekera, and Marian Studenek are the scratches. So game one tonight, Dallas versus Calgary. Already Daryl Sutter has made comments on the officials, on the officiating after the first day one, and we'll touch on day one here in a little bit. But Daryl Sutter says last night there were 37 power plays. That's a third more than the regular season. So it wasn't called the way it was in the regular season. Very clear. There were a lot of penalties that you had to watch a replay to see what the penalty was. So already Daryl Sutter complaining about the officiating, and we haven't even started game one yet. So the gamesmanship begins. It should be an exciting time. There were great crowds last night. The Leafs crowd was great. The Oiler crowd was great last night too. I'll touch on the Oiler crowd a little bit here, but then Flames crowd I think will be a very exciting day at Sea of Red. So there we go. There now. Other games today that we start the game one. We have Nashville, of course, taking on Colorado. No UC Soros, so David Riddick's expected to get the call and goal there. And it's Colorado. By the way, Sean and I have a bet that who will have more Vezina votes, Thatcher Demko and Darcy Kemper, as we did our unpack for the Canucks. We'll touch on that in a little bit as well. Well, in the Eastern Conference, the two other series that will start is the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the New York Rangers, and Tristan Jarry will miss the first two games, so Casey DeSmith will be in goal for that. And then you got the Washington Capitals that will have Alexander Ovechkin in the lineup going to Florida, who will have Aaron Ekblad in their lineup. So those are the games there. Vitek Vanacek will start in goal for the Washington Capitals tonight, and it will be Sergei Bobrovsky starting for the Florida Panthers. By the way, Joe Thornton is a scratch there. Looking at last night's game, starting from the beginning, the Carolina Hurricanes came away with the 5-1 win over the Boston Bruins behind the goaltending of 32-year-old Ante Ranto, who made his first playoff start. He played a pretty strong game, quite frankly, and of course, 2 goals in the second period. It was scoreless there, but Seth Jarvis and Nino Riederreiter scored 2 goals, 2 minutes and 10 seconds apart late in the second period to give them the lead. Teuvo Teravainen, Vincent Trocheck, and Andrei Shmetchikov into an empty net. Jarvis added an assist. Taylor Hall scored for Boston. So the Hurricanes beat the Bruins 5-1. Bruins spent the first half of the game. They threw it all in there, but the Carolina Hurricanes, who have only allowed 2 goals so far in the games that they played against the Boston Bruins this year, when one in the regular season, one last night. So that is something that I think is interesting. So game 2 that starts tomorrow. The Toronto Maple Leafs got the shutout from Jack Campbell. They killed off the 5-minute major from Kyle Clifford there, and were actually more aggressive on that penalty kill than the Lightning were on the power play. That Leafs crowd was outstanding last night, and they built a 5-0 lead. Jake Muzzin scored late in the first. Austin Matthews on the power play. David Kampf shorthanded. Mitch Marner scored in the third, and then Austin Matthews had 2. Mitch Marner had a goal and an assist as well, or a goal and 2 assists. Sorry about that. And Jack Campbell gets the shutout. He made 24 saves. Didn't feel that the Lightning were completely sharp, and I think that that's in part because of the crowd and the momentum. I thought that penalty kill was obviously the turning point in the game. As mentioned, Kyle Clifford is having a hearing in the today about how long he may be out, if he's going to be suspended. But the Leafs were sharp. The Leafs were ready to go. I thought the Leafs were the stronger skating team than the Tampa Bay Lightning in game 1. And so you got to give the Leafs credit. Of course, all that pressure on Austin Matthews, all that pressure on Mitch Marner to place themselves in the playoffs against. They were the better team last night. We'll see what happens game 2. Sheldon Keefe said that this will be a long series. You don't expect Tampa to be that bad tomorrow, but they also weren't sharp. And they were often I felt a little inconsistent heading down the regular season. So that's what's intriguing to me there. But the Leafs, we'll see what happens there. Should be a good crowd and a good game tomorrow. We'll talk with Devin about that when we recap Flames and Stars tomorrow there. Then the St. Louis Blues knocked off the Dallas Stars 4-0. And talk about taking the crowd out. The Blues jumped on them early, and their power play clicked. David Perron got the hat trick. 2-0 after 1. It was you had David Perron on the power play. 6:15 in, Ryan O'Reilly squared to make it 2-0, and then Perron in the second on the power play, and then Perron completed the hat trick late, midway through the third. Ville Husso with the shutout, as he made 37 saves. As I said, I think the Blues took them out in a balanced attack. The Blues will get scoring from everywhere. It's just the way that the Blues work. I think Wild, you went with Marc-Andre Fleury. You made all these moves. I think the expectation was to come out a lot better than they did against St. Louis, and you're sure that they will. This will be a long series. I have no doubt about it. But the Blues certainly put their stamp on that game, winning 4-0 there. And Ryan O'Reilly, a goal and an assist. He had it. I don't think he will come away saying he had a great year. Torrey Krug, 3 assists in that game, by the way, as well, for the St. Louis Blues. So they're up in that series 1-0. Then, of course, the Los Angeles Kings over the Edmonton Oilers 4-3. Kings jumped out to an quick 2-0 lead and jumped on the Oilers, quite frankly, very early in the game. They had a chance off the stop. Well, Edler had a power play or a breakaway couldn't capitalize, but the Kings were able to score 2 goals quick early. Trevor Moore, who I thought was outstanding, that whole line of fellow Philip Demote, Trevor Moore. 9 minutes in, Trevor Moore made it 1-0. 16:48, Alex Iafallo made it 2-0. Then Connor McDavid did a Connor McDavid move, got the Oilers back in the game at 2-1. Kyler Yamamoto tied it on the power play at 2. But then a minute and 11 seconds later, Brendan Lemieux scores. I think that's one that Mike Smith wants back. We'll get to Mike Smith here in a moment from Adrian Kempe, who I also thought had a really strong game. Then Draisaitl for McDavid and Yamamoto. They go into the third, tied at 3. Now, the first portion of that third period, late in the second, I thought that the Oilers, the way that game was going, I was thinking if the Kings were going to win, they were going to have to slow this game down a little bit because it's starting to go back and forth, and that's not the way the Kings are going to win that series. You are not going to go skate for skate, toe-to-toe with the Edmonton Oilers that way and expect to win. They just, with McDavid and Draisaitl, the Kings don't have the firepower to do that. But Philip Deneau has been credited with the winning goal here from Sean Durzi and Trevor Moore. It was Mike Smith landed a pass that a decision he shouldn't have made. And it was given away. He made the first save, but he couldn't make the second one. And the LA Kings come away with game 1, 4-3. I think many Oiler fans are going to argue that they played well enough to win, and you can make that argument. But they were also outshot in the first part of that third period, 13-2. They were able to hem in the Kings to try to get the tying goal, but Jonathan Quick was unbelievable last night. He made save after save. There was a specific acrobatic save he made in the second period off Draisaitl. He was just on his game, and that Deneau line and really the Kopitar line played really well. But the Kings come away with the 4-3 win. Interesting question: who starts in goal for Edmonton on game 2? I thought the crowd was into it, but I thought the Oilers crowd got a little nervous, especially when it became 2-0. So that will be something that I think will be a factor there. So game 2 is on Wednesday. No question Jonathan Quick is going to start, but my question will be, is Jonathan Quick going to be as good as he was in game 1? Because there were times that I thought that the Oilers, I just thought he was maybe playing a little bit over what we were expecting from Jonathan Quick. I don't know, but going to be a great series as well. So that is the 8 playoff games. 4 that happened yesterday, 4 that happens tonight. Devin, Sean, and Fireside Chat will be joining tomorrow for a recap of Flames Stars Game 1, and we'll talk about all of the other series as well. The Vancouver Canucks will had their media availability. We didn't touch on this yesterday in the news pack, but Bruce Boudreau, the big thing that he said that he did tell Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin that he wants to stay. Rutherford and Allvin are going to speak today. We'll break that down tomorrow to hear what they have to say. That will be very interesting. We did our Canucks debrief of the end of the season. We talked a little bit about what was expected. We had a debate about Quinn Hughes on the right side. We also got into a debate, and we're going to dig into this a little bit more about the future of Dallas Höglander. I think he might need a longer stint in the minors, and I think that he doesn't have I would think he needs a really good offseason. Sean disagrees, so we're going to debate that further. I listened to that podcast coming up there as well. Now, in terms of other news that is going on in the NHL and hockey, Mike Yeo was fired as head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. He took over for Alain Vigneault, but the Flyers are missing the playoffs of the second straight season, 17-36-7. Yeo was. Chuck Fletcher said he thought he did a really good job under the circumstances. He kept the players completing, played hard to the end. But the Flyers are going to be making a lot of significant changes. That's the theme that is coming out of there. They're going to spend money. They're going to try to compete. Now, someone argued that that's a need of a rebuild in Philadelphia, but that's not the way of Philadelphia. So look for that to happen. As mentioned, Kyle Clifford will have the player safety hearing for his hit from behind yesterday in the Tampa Bay Lightning game. Should mention, of course, Gabriel Landeskog is playing game one for the Avalanche. We've touched on that. Fines from yesterday's at the end of the game. Patrick Maroon, Corey Perry, Wayne Simmons were fined for conduct at the 10:09. As Maroon was assessed a 10-minute misconduct, Perry a minor penalty, and a pair of minor penalties for roughing a 10-minute misconduct, and Simmons assessed a 10-minute misconduct. And Jared Spurgeon, I think some people are going to think that this should have been maybe a suspension. We're already hearing some of that, but he was fined $5,000 for his cross check against Pavel Buchnevich. That was at 17:07 late in the third. So that is something to watch out. That was something there, and I think that will create some more heat in that St. Louis Blues Minnesota Wild series. I think a lot of people were looking at Jared Spurgeon of a Lady Byng, I think, trophy winner. The way that some of the reporters I heard talking about that. So that was interesting there as well. WHL, there was a massive upset last night, no question about it. For the first time in WHL history, an 8-seed beat a 1-seed. The Vancouver Giants knocked off the Everett Silvertips 6-2. The Vancouver Giants will now face the Kamloops Blazers on looking like, don't have the full schedule here, but it looks like that series is starting. Will start this weekend. So the final rounds are the second round is set. We've got the Red Deer Rebels taking on the Edmonton Oil Kings. That starts Thursday. We've got the Moose Jaw Warriors taking on the Winnipeg Ice. That starts Friday, Saturday. And then Thursday, Saturday looks like the Rebels, Oil Kings. And then now the Seattle Thunderbirds will take on the Portland Winterhawks. No official dates on that, looking at that, but I'm suspecting Friday, Saturday, the weekend will be the start there of that series. But the Giants with the big upset here for sure. That was massive. What happened there? 3-0 after one, and 4-1 after two. And the Silvertips ended up chasing the game. Horning, Cotton, Madison Leslie, Zach Ostapchuk, Damian Palmieri, Adam Hall scored for the Giants. Hemmerling, Hofer, and John Lambos for the Silvertips. As mentioned, Giants heading to Kamloops. BCHL finals, our conference finals, sorry, happened yesterday. Game 3, the Penticton Bees beat the West Kelowna Warriors 5-2 to be up 3-0 in that series, as Brendan Richter scored Beatty Richter scored his first 2 goals. Luke Wilson scored 2 of his own. 5-2 over the West Kelowna Warriors to take a 3-0 lead. Luke Wilson, by the way, 19 points in 12 games, tie for the BCL playoff scoring lead. Game 4 is on Wednesday night. Tonight, it's Game 3 between the Nanaimo Clippers and the Langley Rivermen. Clippers are up on that series, 2 games to none there. And as well, we have Bandits and Spruce Grove Bandits take on Bandits and Saints tonight. That's Game 3 of that series in the AJHL. And Brooks Bandits, Spruce Grove Saints. Bandits are that series is tied at 1, so they will play tonight. And of course the funeral today. Guy Lafleur had a state funeral. Dignitaries spent the weekend all in Bell Center. This weekend, Sunday, was the viewing, and then today was the funeral for the great Guy Lafleur, Montreal Canadiens legend, who passed away last week. Of course, speakers like Larry Robinson spoke today. It's hundreds gathered. It was quite the crowd. Martin Lafleur, his son, described him as a father whose son always made time for his family as well. So Guy Lafleur laid to rest today in the Bell Center. Von Courrier, Larry Robertson, Guy Carmino, Patrick Waugh were some of the many that paid tribute today. So rest in peace, Guy Lafleur. And that's the news for today, Tuesday, May 3rd. Of course, you can follow us all individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy, Canuck03, Devin Gord, Howe09, Tyler, TNOBLE, Chris Schneid, SCHNEIDZ. I am KVOLE. Shifts and Pucks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening. We'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.